Here with me now is Republican Asa Hutchinson, Republican from Arkansas. Now, Governor, you're part of the border strike force. 25 other governors join you on that. DHS is saying, and I don't need to tell you, but for our viewers who may have missed this, 18,000 migrants a day could pass if Title 42 is dropped. That adds up to 6.5 million migrants a year. How do we control that?
Well, you don't control it by simply moving some of our Border Patrol agents from the northern border to the southern border. You've got to keep Title 42 in place. And what that means is that everybody, migrant who comes to the United States, they want to claim asylum, they have a right to do that, but we process them right now under Title 42 on the Mexican side of the border, and that has given us greater assurances that if you don't qualify for a legitimate claim of asylum, then you're going to be sent back and you're not going to be released to the United States. And so it's a good system that's been working. We have to keep that in place, and the governors joining together is really a singular message saying, let's keep this in place. If you've got a better remedy, we'll look at this, but this has been effective through the last administration. It's critical now. The courts have put it into place. We can't let it go because that, as you said, and as the migrant said on your previous interview, they're just waiting to come whenever that is lifted. Let's keep it in place.
And they see it as a gift to migrants, and I'm not sure they're wrong on that. I think it has far less to do with, I mean, let's face it, this administration is thinking about putting everybody back in masks on planes and buses, while at the same time they're saying the pandemic is over at the border. You can't have it both ways, can you?
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, if you believe that the public health emergency continues to exist and you're going to impose the mask requirement on airlines, well, if it still exists, we have to keep Title 42 in place. That is an inconsistency, and we need that. It has been effective in it. And, you know, from an Arkansas standpoint and all the other governors, if the migrants, you know, some are coming in here for fear, legitimate asylum claims, but you've got thousands of others that are coming here for economic relief, for a job, or to bring fentanyl in here, or to work for the smugglers. And that's why we're going to be able to share intelligence and hopefully be a good voice together to protect our border.
But at the same time, let's be clear, the pandemic is, for all effects and purposes, over. We are in an endemic stage, not in a pandemic stage. Wouldn't it be better to focus specifically? Don't get rid of 42 immediately because that would create this flood in the border, but eventually get to real border control, something like the stay in Mexico policy or stuff that works.
No, you're absolutely right that, you know, we point out the inconsistency of the Biden administration. If we're saying the pandemic is over and we don't need these restrictions, well, that would apply to Title 42. As a practical matter, we can't lift that until there's a good alternative and a measure that is put into place that is effective in keeping those migrants on the Mexico side. So absolutely, as a governor's standpoint, we want this to end in terms of the restrictions they have in our state. And but we can't lift Title 42 until we have a good alternative.
Governor, only 10 seconds. I'm sorry to do this, but there are a lot of Democrats who are against lifting 42. Will they prevail with the president?
You know, their voice is very, very important, and I applaud them. And those are congressmen along the border. They've got the greatest experience. The president needs to listen to them. They need to listen to border state governors. So absolutely.
Governor, great to see you.
I hope it'll make a difference.
Asa Hutchinson, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.